we're gonna close out our wonderful trip around northern Japan. I did last time talking about something I found fascinating. I did not know this, that some Christian Spaniards managed to get some traction with a warlord who ruled that part of Tohoku, Sendai area, and convinced him to send a delegation to meet the Pope. And so Japanese traveled to Japan, I mean to Mexico, and then took a ship. And the way they went was on, this is a record of it, a ship like this. This is a Spanish galleon, friends. This is not a Japanese inspired boat. So what he did is, the Spanish obviously had some plans, and the Japanese are master carpenters, so they got a bunch of people and built this ship. And interesting story. And so, as I mentioned last time, while they were away, this trip took a couple of years, of course. The Shogun Tokugawa family made being Christian punishable by death. So they're over there talking to the Pope. Meanwhile, back home, what they're doing is being made illegal. Just the currents of history. And humans are thought to first appeared in Africa 4 million years ago, spread around the world. 13,000 years ago, there was earthenware made in Japan. I've talked about this Jomon period. There's lots of places. And this is again, this very ancient stuff. Jomon is a name that came from a British archaeologist, and it means corded, because they made these and built it with these corded things of pottery. And these are just fascinating. These, I call them amulets or figures that these people are obviously very superstitious, as ancient peoples all were. Really old stuff. And then comes later on the emergence, maybe the 5th, 4th century, of these warlord states. This is a thing back to like the 1400s that was a tile on a roof. You see the same things today. Let's view out our hotel window. That's modern Sendai. So the transformation. This is the Westin Hotel in Sendai, marvelous place. Bathroom was nice. Just night shot of the city. So this was breakfast buffet, and I was fascinated the way Japanese take something and just kind of totally reshape it. This is eggs Benedict. If you're familiar with eggs Benedict, that's normally on a English muffin. And what he's got these soft boiled eggs down below that are warm. He takes it up, puts it on this little piece of toast, puts some béarnaise sauce on it, and warms it up with a torch. You can see the little crust there. What's this thing? So Japanese, again, have made a British dish more better. This is my plate. This has got my little English muffin, some salad, trying to get a little healthy food here, some fish stuff. These are gyoza, shumai, the popular dumplings, piece of fish, little broccoli, a little bit of French fry there. And here he's making the thing, putting the béarnaise on and roasting it with the torch. And so you can put these out in about 30 seconds, and they're delicious. That's my second one. Another plate, this is tamago, that's fish cake. This is hayako tofu with some onions, some vegetables, so forth.
Charlie, I think Japanese really cook a lot of vegetables with different sauces. And I
Yeah,
think I would not be going hungry there with me being vegan.
you'd have no
So
problem.
yeah, I think there would be no problem. In fact, I think I would wanted to have more of these dishes.
No,
Yes.
it's they didn't eat meat until they didn't eat four-legged animals
Yeah.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
It's Buddhist. I mean, if you go into we didn't do this, but you can stay in Buddhist temples, it's all vegetarian.
Yeah. And I bet it's delicious because they
Of
have
course it's
so many
delicious. Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
So,
thank you for sharing,
sure,
Charlie.
sure. So we took a little trip around the mountainous area. And we wanted to see this kind of a caldera, and this is driving how foggy it was. This is what we would have seen if we could have seen through the fog, but we didn't see it. And you change prefectures is a big deal, kind of like changing states in the US. This is a GPS map of where Junko is driving, and the visibility is about 10 feet. Mysterious Torii Gate. These are Shinto. This is usually announcing a Shinto shrine, but I have no idea why this giant torii gate's in the middle of the road. And we went to this interesting museum. That's a Jomon piece there. And sort of, this is what the bears look like. They're actually quite dangerous now. There were people with sticks hiking to fend off the bears. Good luck with that. But they're bothering people a lot. And they're small bears, much more than the bears we have here. A tortoise. This is a national treasure. This is a Jomon piece that's particularly interesting. This is in Yamagata. Again, another display, a different museum of the Jomon era. And kind of an artist concept of what life was like. I think life was pretty easy in these days, much easier than farming. They go out and hunt a little game. The Buddhist things. This is feudal life in Japan. You had the domii that owned the land, the warlords. Here you've got kind of a little crib and some home items. This is a calligraphy thing. The Japanese ships of that period, this is about, I don't know, 1200 to 1500. The mostly coastal trading. This is a set for the tea ceremony, lacquerware. We love the lacquerware. This is ink board for calligraphy. This is red dye that came from those red flowers I showed you earlier. These are actually shoes for walking in the rice paddy. So this would keep you sort of afloat above the mud. And there you see people just back-breaking work of growing rice. This is very common to have this central stove in row in the house. And this was the heat of the house and heating the food, the hot water, typically suspended on this kind of a hanging thing. And a little vent in the roof, the smoke's right in the room with you. And some things, jackets and things to go outside in the snow. They made everything themselves, of course, from leftover rice things. A little chest. This was something that they made and burned in festivals. And there's a fire truck of the period. This is the red flour that makes the dye. We couldn't take pictures inside, so there's not much to see here. And this was, looking back, this was the road we were on the day before, and we couldn't see anything, so of course we didn't go up here again. This is the hotel we stayed at. This is modern tatami. This is different than the floors we had before. You see, you've got Western style beds. This place had a massage chair in the room. And that's a little writing desk, looking out. So I've talked a lot about what it was like in the baths. And here you can see how it is in the hotel room. This is exactly like it is in the main baths. You got a little stool like this and a bowl of water. You got your little thermostatic control, your handheld. And so just like you do in the public baths at home, you wash yourself thoroughly here. And the tub is only for soaking. It's filled with maybe 103, 104 degree water. And you never put any soap in the water. And at home, families reuse the water for the whole family at night. Attractive little bathroom. The normal thing with the electronically controlled washlet panel on the wall, your Toto toilet here. we're having dinner, some sake, you can see. I'm wearing the yukata. Again, meals like I've shown you before. There's some beef, some vegetables cooked on this plate, some salad, some sake. This is a salt and soy sauce to dip the meat in. And here's some vegetable items over here, Larissa, and vegetable item here and vegetable items here. That's actually a caprese. That's a salad with fish in it. And this is a rice ball, little toast with something on it. Just everything's beautifully delicate. Some of the delicious beef. You cook the beef and the vegetables on a little hot pot. Beans, everything's delicious. This is a gelatin thing with that's a fish cake in it and a shrimp. We like food pictures. Miso soup. Cooking the beef. The beef was phenomenal. The closing thing, the miso soup, little snack. So this was interesting. I really like this. Of course, you take your shoes off when you enter your hotel room. And I mentioned before, I brought these slippers with me because I like them better. But this had really interesting, this is a handle on the wall to help you hold your balance while you take your shoes on and off. I've never seen that before. Here's breakfast, again, a buffet. I won't explain all the food over and over, probably getting boring. This was this is a decal on a car that says it's your first year driving. So it means cut this person some slack, they're still learning. This is the decal here. You stop at a gas station and then this is a woman comes out and about 3 attendants come out and start washing your car, checking the oil, just like in the US 50 years ago, same thing. There's self-serve places a little bit higher, but I got a kick out of this. Now we're heading up into the high mountains. This is a very volcanic area. A lot of these clouds are volcanic. Beautiful scenery. This was a road where this bus came within like a micron of us. Junko's driving here and she stopped and we couldn't, but this is a road that looks like a narrow road for 2 cars and here comes a tour bus. This is venting sulfuric gas out of the mountain. I didn't get a picture of it. There are lots of signs, don't stop here, it's dangerous. This was a hike we chose not to take to go see this caldera, just it was more than I wanted to do. The audio visual stuff in these museums is incredible. This is a panorama about how this caldera was formed and different rock. Every place there's gas coming out of the ground. Japan's got, I think, 10% of the world's active volcanoes with a few percent of the actual land mass. I love these pictures of these multiple mountains in the background. This is very Japanese, this view. And just the lush greenery everywhere. This is common. All over the road, these people are stopping and foraging for food. Probably we saw 10 cars doing this. And they know enough about what's in the woods. They stop, and Junko used to do this when she was younger. I go with her mother and spend half a day picking vegetables, wild vegetables. Now we're going to a little kind of I don't know how to describe it, a home, ancient home. Restrooms in Japan, look at this. Do you see a public restroom look like this in the US? 1670 this place was built. This was a herb garden. This is interesting, and they had signs, a huge thing, signs all along the way. Junko was familiar with most of these herbs. I was not. And here's the main herbologist, sees us and comes over and starts talking with her in Japanese, explaining about the interesting herbs. And of course, every home had its Zen garden. Beautiful places. This was a house that you could walk into, sort of a summer house. Went to this castle. It wasn't very interesting, frankly, because it had been rebuilt. But the story was about the primarily about the rebellion. So when Perry sailed in there in 1850 and they decided the shogun voluntarily agreed to give up his power back to the emperor, there was people in the north that still were wanting to protect the shogun, and they had a big war, and that's what that's all about. This is a tea house in that same complex, an ancient, probably 1600 year 1600 tea house. This is the family that makes the tea, their family tree. This is the organization of it. And here's what a traditional tea house looks like inside. Junko likes to take pictures of manhole covers. Japanese, everything's whimsical. Even the barriers on the side of the road when they're doing construction have some little face on them. This tells you it's an old person driving. So you see this sticker, if they're going slowly, you're supposed to be polite to them because they're old. So that's what that's telling you. I think Junko would like to put one on the back of our car, but I don't think anybody here would know what it means. Another ryokan. This place had fresh shrimp tempura, which was delicious. That's, I think, whale meat. Those are natto packs. Junko's making morning natto, which is arguably the healthiest food you can eat in the world, but it's something you got to get used to. And plenty of sake. This was
What,
breakfast.
hey, sorry, Charlie.
Yeah.
What exactly is that? I
It's
don't recall that.
fermented soybeans.
And then what's the gooey?
It's made with something called koji. It's that's the result of the fermentation.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You can actually buy it on Amazon, packs of natto.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, you might want to look it up about natto, see how healthy it is. It's
Yeah,
arguably
thank you.
the healthiest food in the world. I got a kick
Well,
out.
I've noticed,
Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, I've noticed two things. I think that sign on the back of the car is a brilliant idea for all cultures. I mean,
Yeah.
we and the USA.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Yeah. And then that rail at the staircase for shoes. I mean, why not? This is practical,
Yeah. No,
especially old age people.
they're a very practical country. I just happened to see this. This is breakfast. They had sake at breakfast. So Junko's driving out a couple shots.
If I may, there was another photo you did. It looked like a some like a headdress that
Oh, you're back to
you go
the
back,
helmet?
yeah, like about 7 photos or so.
Yeah,
Like you go back.
that's the helmet that a warlord would wear going to war.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, so they each had their own distinctive helmet, and they weren't afraid of being called out. Other people, everyone could see, the other army could see who they were. But like today, American generals don't advertise their generals, but in those days, it was more important for the warlord to be leading the charge, for his own people to see he's there. So now we stopped at a interesting place where it's shopping again back centuries ago. I just took this shot. This was people drinking sake at 9 in the morning. Here we are. These are all, each of these is a shop, and they're typically selling stuff from hundreds of years ago. It's a recreation of how a shopping mall was maybe 2 or 3 centuries ago. As usual, water, excuse me, running everywhere in Japan.
Is that like a gutter, like a storm gutter, or is it a stream?
It's
What?
a stream. It's a
It's
mountain.
beautiful.
Yeah. I think in the old days, it would probably been used for waste also, but not now. This took me back to living on Okinawa. This is what the little shops look like there, selling stuff. And they're selling, this is miso. And we love the lacquerware, the Japanese lacquerware. It's phenomenal. Ohashi, or what you'd call chopsticks. We bought a couple pair. I'm using them right now. They're selling some lacquerware with soup in it. This is a temple. We didn't climb up here. Fruits. We bought these vegetables. This is the sort of stuff Junko would collect in the forest. This lady probably just went into the woods and gathered this stuff. And she's selling them. They were picking out chopsticks. And there was a guy walking around in this costume, kind of a symbol of the place. Now we're having a izakaya. We've gone to Mito. This is the husband of Junko's sister, the one that met me and introduced us. And he's ordering. And this is Takia, a nephew. Takia traveled the world with us. She's pouring sake for me. And this is this typical thing where it's in the overflowing cup. So you sort of gotta reach your mouth down and drink enough till you can, like he's showing me, I said, how do you drink this? He's showing me. Sashimi, this is my favorite. This is hamachi. And here's some mixed sashimi. This is a very popular thing, the cooked jaw of the fish. This is daikon. You put this in a thing of like soy sauce and lemon and you dip it, eat it. It's actually quite tasty. There's some sashimi. This is maguro. And I don't know what that is for sure. This is a shutoro back there. But that's saba, yeah. This is very, very popular. This is onigiri. That's sold everywhere. Junko's sister ordered this, and it's a big ball of rice with something inside. I'm not sure what she got. And this is skimono, pickled vegetables that you eat at the end of the meal. Here's some chicken. That's our plates as we finished. And they took a lot away.
Hey, Charlie, sorry to interrupt
Yeah,
again.
no.
How firm are those seats? Well, I don't know what you.
This is not easy for me to sit. I sort of had to do it. Almost every meal we ate here was like this.
Okay,
To answer your question, they're pretty firm.
okay,
So most people fold their legs up in front of it, but you can extend your legs. It's okay.
gotcha.
It just
How-
takes more energy to sit like this than it does sitting in a chair.
Sure. How tall are they? 3 inches, 4 inches?
Yeah, for 4 inches maybe, yeah.
Okay,
3 inches. It's kind of.
thank you.
And I went in walking around. Junko went to do some paperwork trying to see if she can get her pension. I went into a camera store and this was interesting. This was a dry vault for cameras. It's so humid that people buy vaults for their cameras. And this is Mito City and it's known for natto. This is their ode to natto. I don't think that was invented here, but it's very popular here. So the natto is so important. It's the symbol of the city. And just everything in Japan is clean and modern, beautiful. In China, this would have air conditioners hung outside everywhere. This is a Sakura River, and these are all cherry trees. Unfortunately, we're too late for the bloom. This was kind of cool. This is a parking lot where it's coin operated. You put your car in, and when you park, this thing comes up, when you pay, it goes back down and you can exit. Went to a sushi shop for lunch. And that's the other nephew, that's my favorite, and Junko's sister. Oh, no, take it back. This was her favorite, unagi shop. Very popular broiled eel, but she thought this was extraordinary. She was right. This was delicious. And the Japanese are very, very fond of sets. So here's a typical thing. Here's the main course, a little salad, miso soup, and some skimono. We're out at the Pacific Ocean and went to this aquarium, which was, frankly, I've never seen quite like it. Phenomenal. Of course, it's right next to the ocean so that it's easy to get fresh water. But the tanks were like 20, 30, 40 feet high. And just interesting. I've never seen this fish before. It's a square fish. There's no tail in any ordinary way. And this museum's famous for sharks. That's an actual great white's mouth. There's that strange fish. We had a show with seals and dolphin that was just incredible. That animal did everything. And this young woman is controlling him by talking and moving. That's the view out from the place we're watching the show. The dolphins going up in the air. They had signs on all the lower seats that, you're gonna get wet if you sit here. Now I see why. And this is a whale's mouth. That's how he strains out the small little things they eat. There's that duck looking at me.
The plankton.
Yes, the plankton, thank you. The plankton and also these little sea animals, I've forgotten right now what they are. So when using an elevator, refrain from talking. This is so Japanese. Keep your distance and get on the next one when it's crowded. You don't talk in the elevator. We're back at that same place again with the two nephews. This is an onsen egg. I talked about this. It's cooked very slowly in an onsen for about 30 minutes. This is eggplant with bonito flakes on top. That's fish flakes. Lots of vegetables. And of course, I love the sashimi. That's some fish. Shrimps. Seaweed. Saba. That might be fugu, a blowfish. That's probably fugu. Yeah. That's the fish that's, if you eat the toxin, you dead in an hour. Vegetable thing. Fried fish. Eggplant again. Call the plates. There's the whole family.
I gotta say, Charlie, I love those manhole covers or whatever they call them these days. I had a point in my career where I was an auditor and we had to count manhole covers.
Okay.
And so to this day, I can't drive down a street and recognize where the manhole covers are. And those would have been fun to seek out. So
they're cool, aren't
thank
they?
you for sharing that. Yeah, they're really neat.
So I'm walking around by myself again near this park. This is Mito City again. Just how clean everything is. So a gate system for managing the water probably takes it into rice paddies somewhere. This is freshwater river. Health stuff like Berlin, it's big here. This is this is something I can read. Sakana River. This is the hiragana characters, and that's the kanji for river. So now we're having a sushi lunch. And again, it's a set, that's the sushi. That's buckwheat noodles, sashimi. I ordered an extra hamachi. He's showing me that's his $5,000 knife he's letting me handle. Japanese knives are really interesting. They're tempered so that it's very brittle on this edge. So it stays very sharp, and it's very, very flexible back here, so it's very strong. This is a parking place for old people. That's the same symbol that was on the back of the car. So if you're old, you get a special parking place. We're looking at here at these micro bubble shower heads. We have them in our house, but we were maybe buy some new ones, but there were too many choices. We couldn't figure out what to do. Junko's getting a discount for the tax in the airport. Still a history museum for the prefecture, Ikiraba. That's a car in Japan early on. I think it's a Toyota. Again, Jamon pottery. Some artist concept of what life was like for early peoples there. Jamon pottery. That's a helmet of sorts, different style. That I'm almost sure it was a ceremonial helmet, not a war helmet. There's what you're asking about, Sonny. That's Shogun, that's his symbol. He wore that helmet into battle, presumably. That's the Japanese early ship. It's coastal trading, so you could row it without much trouble, put a small sail. That's a clock. So until the Perry sailed into Japan, the clocks were all on agricultural time. In other words, the sun came up exactly the same time and set exactly the same time every day. So it's very complicated to make a clock that varies with the seasons. And I'm thinking that these weights are how you adjust for the season, the speed of the clock. An early globe, that's Australia. This is the time of the war. They're getting ready to fight the samurai. Houses like I've shown you before. This is a rather old primary school. We went in here and walked around. This is what lunch was like when Junko was in school. This was considered a really good thing, and this was post World War II. So lunch was a primary place for students to get nutrition. It wasn't, the government put good food out. This is a little stew, precious milk, a couple of vegetables, a little pat of butter for the noodles. This was considered really good food, and so the government took care of the young population by providing school lunches. Absolutely beautiful ceramics in Japan, just nothing like it. We love these things. That's a bank, a Japanese bank. Here's the abacus. When I was in Okinawa, people could use this thing and do math like instantly. This is early money. That's the guy that made all the ceramic works, happened to be there. And we talked with him a bit. We're back in the restaurant now with Junko's sister. This is a different izakaya. That's the waitress. And vegetables, all vegetables, some sashimi, seaweed, and some, again, that's whale meat. It's actually pretty tasty. There's another on these rice sandwiches, onigiri, and a little plate with some egg yolk and some vegetables, beets. That's tofu with some something on it. It's getting bulky on me again. I don't know why. Let me see if I can get it to go. We're almost done.
Thank you for sharing all these, Charlie. It's wonderful.
Yeah, great. So I can wrap this up. Let's see what's going on here. Meat skewered, steak. Rice balls, I mean, fish balls. That's the menu. You see, I couldn't help much. Tamago. I love to have beer and vending machines in Japan. You stop on anywhere, buy a beer. This is at the Narita Airport. This place is just gigantic. This is the United Lounge waiting to take off. And this is the first view of home. There's the Rocky Mountains out the window. And there we are. So that's it. Thanks for watching, folks.
Excellent, thanks. You were talking about, Larissa's not on here, but she was talking about adding Japan to her bucket list. And I thought about it later and I thought, well, Japan's not on my bucket list, but then I've already kicked the bucket once. So there, I don't know what happens. Do you make a second bucket list or you?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to think through that one, but yeah, it was great. Thank you.
Well, let me end the recording. It's thank you all for playing along here.